Oh my lord, Kimi Antonelli won his third Grand Prix in a row, making an F1 cinematic history. He held off Lando Norris in a tense strategic fight to the flag. I mean, this wasn't just dominance by Mercedes, it was a pure masterclass by them. Arguably, one of the toughest challenges was the McLaren this Grand Prix. I mean, the sprint Norris won quite comfortably in the lead, and he would have won even the race as well if not for the pit strategy by Mercedes to pit Antonelli and undercut McLaren as well. And even the pit stop was quite excellent because McLaren did a pit stop of 3.7 seconds, which in hindsight is probably the reason why Norris could not have gained the track position. But yes, Norris and Kimi Antonelli were simply astounding in this. After 4 long weeks, we finally came back to this track, and seeing how it unfolds was really something that a lot of people were waiting for. I mean, this was the one of the few sprint as well as the main race weekends, and McLaren had brought some really good upgrades, and they were showing some really good pace in the starts, especially in the sprint where Norris won and Piastri also came close to third. But yes, they had the chance to win this Grand Prix, but there was always some hints of rain coming down, so that's probably why they did not pit much earlier, and probably that cost them the championship in the end. But apart from that, everything went pretty well. Now coming on to Ferrari, oh my god, what can we even say? Ferrari is always like the bridesmaid but never the bride. I mean, they develop a reliable car, but just because their engine is a little bit small and their turbo is a little bit small, they have a good start or get away from the starting line, but they would definitely have much less output, and that's why they would never be able to catch up McLaren or Mercedes. And I guess even this year they're gonna struggle a lot with the pace, especially down the straights. And Charles Leclerc, I mean, I'm happy that he finished the race because the way he spun around, just like Verstappen in the first lap. I mean, Verstappen did spun around, but Red Bull were quick enough to get him. And once Verstappen pit, he was able to breeze past the lower midfield cars, and he was able to make considerable gains among the top leaders. But yes, even he finished up in P. Even he ended up finishing in P5, which was probably where he would have finished either ways. But that was a good recovery drive, considering that he had spun around, and not only did he crash into any others, but not only did he gain any places as well. I mean, George Russell really did have a pretty horrible weekend in this Miami. I mean, in sprint race, he was pretty pathetic when compared to the pace that Antonelli showcased. He only was able to gain that positions because Antonelli was really aggressive on the throttle and probably had a lot of track mark violations, and that gave him a 5-second penalty that pushed him downstairs. But apart from that, Antonelli was really amazing, especially in the race as well. He showcased the real potential of the Mercedes car, and I was able to match Norris' pace as well. Now coming to Ferrari again, I mean, they're nowhere to be found. I mean, Leclerc spinned off due to a mistake from his side, and he was able to quite save the car, but he cut out a lot of corners and drove in an unsafe manner, which is probably why the FIA granted him a 20-second penalty that placed him even behind Colapinto in P8, and that was really a horrible weekend. And on the Hamilton side, he crashed into Colapinto yet again. That was deemed as a racing incident, which led to him losing a lot of chunk on his side parts and losing a lot of downforce. So he was also nowhere to be found. I mean, that was really a disaster from Ferrari as well, all things considered. I mean, they brought 11 upgrades to the Miami, and they come out like a third or fourth fastest car, which is really something concerning to think about, and they really need to go back to the drawing board. But apart from that, the championship is really running away with Kimi Antonelli. I mean, 3 consecutive poles, 3 consecutive wins. This teenager unstoppable, but the season is long, and we definitely need George Russell or the McLarens to come into the picture to make this season exciting, or else we would definitely have a teenage world champion in our midst. So that was the weekend wrap up, guys. I'll see you in the next one.